Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. INEC declares Governor Rauf Aregbesola winner of Osun governorship elections. Displaced Bekasi indigents ask federal government to provide them permanent shelter. State governments embark on massive enlightenment over Ebola spread. And Iraq Kurds ask for arms to fight rebels. I'd like to remind you that all our top stories can be found on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. We'd also like to urge you to interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android, iOS, and Windows 8 platforms. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, please tap the app on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions. Technology will indeed be creating new opportunities in tackling environmental challenges such as erosion as it affects many states in the southeast region of Nigeria, with Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano embracing such cutting-edge technology and is adopting the drone renaissance in tackling erosion menace that is ravaging many communities in the state. It demonstrated the capabilities of the drone mapping concept while inspecting some erosion sites in Agwata and Orumba local government area of the state, and says the drone will assist contractors handling erosion projects in obtaining accurate analysis of all the dimensions and details of the erosion challenge towards enhancing response and control measures.
Umudi, Eneke village in Uga, Agwata local government area of Anambra State is one of the communities in the state that is groaning under the burden of erosion as the menace decimates houses and farmlands in spite of control measures put in place by the state government. Being one of the states affected by erosion, which is caused principally by heavy flooding due to the sloppy nature of the topography, Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano undertook an inspection tour of some sites in order to assess the areas and see how to adapt the drone mapping concept in reducing the erosion menace.
We have in our arsenal 3 drones. The first one is the one that does surveillance. That's the one we use in locking in kidnappers, armed robbers, and tracing them to their various houses. The second one is for eavesdropping. The third one is the one that maps. This is the junior of that one, the one that takes a map. What it does is it will take the picture and give us the exact distance, the depth, the size of the erosion. So with that, if we are dealing with a contractor, we know exactly what we are dealing with.
Next stop for the team after Uga was Ndikpa Umunze erosion site, where a former deputy governor of the state, Emeka Sibeudu, took Governor Obiano round the village and told him of the various measures put in place to control the erosion without success. From the mild Umunze erosion site to the frightening one at the Oko side of the Nanka Oko erosion site in Orumba local government area. Here, Governor Obiano was so stunned by the natural devastation that he ordered an immediate stop to sand evacuation in the area.
Anybody found taking sand in that place will face the wrath of the Lord. It is unacceptable for sand to be taken there, weakening the base of the foundation that we are laying to stop the erosion. So we will not tolerate anybody taking sands for that. I think what this administration will do is to try and prevent the expansion of the erosion sites.
With the nature of the erosion and the capital outlay involved in tackling it, Governor Obiano said he is very optimistic that the drone will provide the much-needed assistance to contractors handling erosion projects across the state with accurate information for disaster response and control.
The murder of the son of a former chief judge of Benue State has left his grieving family in search of justice. Alechenu Anyebe was found dead in a ditch in Makurdi in the state, allegedly shot by armed robbers. However, his mother and widow insist there is something sinister about the circumstances surrounding his death. This special report dwells on the concerns of the late Alechenu Anyebe's family following a petition to the police authorities.
It is hard not to feel the grief of the family of the late Alechenu Anyebe, whose mysterious death has left his family crying out for justice. The young man who left home on the evening of July the 17th to run an errand did not return. The mystery surrounding Alechenu's apparent murder is heightened by the fact that his body was found miles away from his car.
This is where the body of Alechenu Anyebe was found. His head this way, his feet the other side. While this street is opposite Catholic Youth Center. While his car was found at Wulku Roundabout.
This security man was probably the last person to see the young man alive.
Once it is 9, he called me. I said, where are you? He said, he's in the office. I said, okay, since you know my street, Ikeja Street, drive, come down. I will meet you on the road so that I will let him have trackable. You pick me. Yes. He drive his car, meet me on the road, and he pick me. We go to the man's house. The man brought the sheep out. I myself, I lift the sheep with my hand, put it inside boots. He closed it. He removed 1,000 naira and give me, say, we should share me and the man.
Alechenu's grieving mother and wife believe there is something not quite right about the circumstances of his death.
All of us were calling. One of his phone was not ringing, but one was ringing continuously and nobody was speaking. Finally, the wife, Eunice, tried to call the number. Then one man picked the call. We asked him who was he. He said it's a policeman. I said, policeman, what are you doing with my son's phone?
There are a whole lot of things that are questionable. They said it's a robbery attack. Nothing was taken. His car was found, and you know, robbers will not kill somebody and, you know, try to, without struggle and, you know, arrange the corpse.
They don't believe he was killed by armed robbers.
I don't know what to think, but I know that something is not right. What the police are saying, I don't even know how they made the connection between the car and the corpse, because they were found at two different locations.
I'm saying that there's a foul play. Armed robbers don't operate like that. So I want the authority to investigate the case.
His friends will remember him for his sterling qualities. The late Alechenu Anyebe has since been laid to rest, but law enforcement agencies have been left with the task of getting to the root of his murder and bringing his killers to justice. Charles Aruka, for Channels Television News.
The family of Emmanuel Osita, the only Nigerian that died in the ill-fated Air Algeria flight AH5017, which crashed in Mali en route Algeria, has appealed to the Nigerian government to help in retrieving the remains of their son. The family says it's at a loss as to the details of the accident and the necessary steps to take towards the recovery of the body and other necessary claims from the airline and respective authorities. Our correspondent Linda Kigwe reports.
Thursday, July 24th, 2014. A day the Osita family will live to remember. The eldest son, Emmanuel Osita, boarded an Air Algeria flight AH5017 from Burkina Faso to Algeria. Emmanuel Osita, a professional football player, was on his way to Dubai to sign a contract with a football club in the country. Before he boarded the plane, he made a telephone call to his father.
He entered the plane by 10:30 p.m. Nigerian time, but in Burkina Faso it's 10 o'clock. He asked me to pray for him for a success and a journey mercies. I prayed for him. And after I prayed for him, he boarded the vehicle and I urged him. As soon as you touch to that Dubai, call us so that we know that you have reached.
But Emmanuel Osita never got to his final destination. The Air Algeria flight AH5017 he boarded crashed in Mali en route to Algeria. He was the only Nigerian on board the aircraft.
President of the club where he played in Burkina Faso called me that the plane Osita Emmanuel entered, they declared missing. From that moment, we know that Osita Emmanuel, my son, is dead.
Mrs. Osita has not come to grips with the death of her eldest child.
The role this boy has been playing in this family, I can never testify all. This is the boy that loved his sisters and brother. Emmanuel doesn't call me my name. If he come, everywhere will change.
For the siblings of the late Emmanuel Osita, this is a nightmare which they haven't woken up from.
Ima is everything in this house. In fact, we call him our father.
All 110 passengers and crew on board the ill-fated Air Algeria jetliner that crashed in Mali died in the tragedy. The McDonnell Douglas 83 jet, operated by Spanish charter firm Swiftair on behalf of Air Algeria, went down shortly after takeoff from Burkina Faso on its way to Algiers. French authorities said weather conditions appeared to be the most likely cause of the accident. As the Osita family attempts to come to terms with the death of their oldest son, it's been an uphill task for them to get to the remains of their son. The family has written to the Minister of Foreign Affairs to request for assistance in retrieving the remains of their son.
If they can help us to bring the dead body to Nigeria, we can go and bury him. Because as I told you before, we are financially incapacitated.
Now the French government, as I said earlier, are coordinating the investigation, and also all the bodies are not being released to the families yet. So with this, we'll talk to the parent and find out their plan. Then where government will assist, we'll do so.
While the family waits for help from the Nigerian government in getting the remains of their son, Emmanuel Osita, the greater burden they face is coming to terms with the loss of the major breadwinner of the family. Linda Akibe, Channels Television News.
And from that flight that so tragically crashed to one where tragedy was averted, a scheduled Air France flight from Paris to Lagos today declared an emergency on approach to the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. According to a statement issued by the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, the captain noticed that the left-hand nose tire pressure indicator was on, which is an indication of faulty nose wheels. Observing the standard and recommended practices, which is a corollary to safe operations, the pilot declared an emergency. However, the aircraft, which had a total of 178 people on board, with 168 as passengers and 10 crew, landed safely at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. The captain of the flight informed the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority that the nose tire pressure indicator was faulty, hence the wrong signal. The tire pressure was actually later discovered to be in perfect condition. Meanwhile, the regulatory authority has directed the pilot to submit the mandatory occurrence report to it in real time. When the news at 10 returns, the Nigerian Medical Association insists on continuing the ongoing strike and accuse government of being insensitive. Please join us again.